Now, I know I cannot be the only person that remembers Dynasty from the 80s. My mom used to watch that junk like all the time, and I used to hear her in there talking about, she's like, oh no, I know she didn't slap her. Yeah, all that junk. So anyway, welcome back. It's your boy again. This is Unedited Season 1, Episode 4. It's getting a little better. The little production values are getting a little better. Now I got a couple of segments, and I think in the next couple of weeks we're gonna go live on YouTube, and we're gonna see how that goes. So Unedited Season 1, Episode 4. We're gonna have some topics of the day. I've actually made a new segment called My Football Corner after this weekend's events. We're gonna talk about that. And a music grab is where I'm going to give you a song and I want you to go look it up and listen to it, and maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't, but I want you to check it out. And moment of the day, this is just stuff that I pick up on a daily basis when I'm either going to work or coming home. It's just something that I thought would be good for this particular segment. But getting into that, let's talk about the topic of the day, which is love of family. And I want to talk about love and family just because we all have very diverse and very different families as you look over the landscape of the world. One of the things that I think that families tend to do sometimes, very good families, is they kind of put it all out in the open and they talk about things, and some families don't do that. So, families out there that are like, when Christmas time comes, you ain't seen, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your mom, or whoever in a year, and the only time you see them is during Christmas time. I think you probably need to fix that, because like my last segment was, you never know when that person's going to be gone. And then if there's issues going on in the family, I volunteer and I say that y'all all sit down at the table and you get those issues out so that you can have a productive family atmosphere, and y'all can become closer because of the fact of that what's bothering this person, and you can't hold a grudge for 15 years over something that happened 15 years ago. Now, if it's a little bit serious stuff, things like abuse or neglect or whatever, those are things that you're going to need a professional for. And I advocate for you finding a professional and getting everybody in the room, because I think, being healthy as a family helps the family unit out to progress and be better, and you'll have a better extended family. Now, I'm not going to sit on this show and tell you that my family's perfect, because it's not. I just said happy birthday to my Aunt Valerie, out in Texas. Hope she's doing well. But I haven't talked to Aunt Valerie in probably some years. I mean, the last time I talked to her was probably Thanksgiving. But I haven't had those connections with my grandmother, with my other auntie. They come to town and then I see them, and then I don't keep in contact with them. It's same thing I said kind of last week. But moving on, I'm trying to do better as a person to get those family connections back. But sometimes there's some things that hold us back as adults, because we're holding grudges or we don't really want to talk and it's too much work. Family is going to be work. It's always going to be work. And your extended family is work, let alone the family that you grew up with can be work. My sister, my mom, and then all of those dynamics that go together. So I'll give you an example. A lot of people don't know this, but my mom, who I adore, when she was younger, my dad, or my supposed dad, had a extramarital affair with someone else, and my mom found out about it and got upset, and so went out with the forget him dress, and basically said, you're not going to do this. Met up with an old high school friend, and 9 months later, this guy popped out. So fast forward 20 years later, she tells me this, and I honestly don't know how to react. I've probably met him twice in the last 15 years, and she told me when I was 25. And so that relationship, as it were, is kind of dead. Now, I've reached out, and, God bless my wife, because she's always the one that says you need to reach out to your dad and say, hey, let's talk about whatever. But, I've reached out as much as I possibly can, and it's in his court. So, like I said, you put it all out in the open. For instance, my other supposed dad, which is my sister's dad, passed away in about, I think, 2 days from today, which is very hard on my sister. So, and she doesn't like to talk about it, but, we tend to try to hold those things in, but we really want to kind of put it out in the open and try to heal from it. At least that's what I think. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you that that's what I think it is, to be basically unedited and just tell the truth about things, because that's the easiest way to kind of get past it. It's going to hurt. It's probably going to scab up. It's going to bleed a little bit from it. But in the end, I think you'll be better for it. So that's my topic of today. Moving on to the moment of the day. I went to Wawa, who makes very great coffee, by the way. I'm hoping to get a sponsorship from Wawa, put you on YouTube, and let everybody know in the Virginia area that Wawa is the place to go get your coffee. The people in there are real nice, and I love the coffee. And I'm not a coffee snob, so, that other place that starts with an S, I don't know if I like y'all very much. But anyway, the moment of the day, what I noticed in my day yesterday is, does anybody realize that nobody says excuse me anymore? Now, just think about that for a second. When you're in the grocery store and you're shopping and someone's in your way, do you say excuse me? I do. But I notice that people don't say excuse me. Now, my wife will not move until that person says excuse me. But what the other person does is that they stand there and just they don't do nothing. So, look, people, it's real easy. The two things that bug me more than anything else is people that don't say excuse me, and other people when you're in the grocery store or at the Wawa counter or wherever, where you got to get in the line and you got to pay for something, but somebody is crowding your space, like while you're trying to pay. It's not just me. I try to step back from people and let them have their space. So I'm not like literally, I can't like right here. They're right here on top of me. And like I had to tell one dude, yo, back up a little bit, please. I just want to have some space. They're inside of the bubble. Inside of the bubble, which is pretty good because I think it's what I'm going to call this segment from now on. In the bubble. So, I'm just saying, yesterday was one of those days where, I was working and these people were just running people over. They were just running them over, and never once did somebody say, excuse me. Never once did one of the children say, excuse me. They even when the parents moved the kids out of the way, they didn't say, excuse me. You got to move. No, just say, excuse me, and then I'll move. It's easy. I'm just saying, people. Look, let's I say be nice to one another, but being nice means polite manners still matter. Manners matter. So say excuse me and try not to crowd people, at the counter. I'm just saying, if you continue, it causes people to get uncomfortable. And I don't want to make people uncomfortable because I'm creeping over their shoulder. And with all of the stuff going on with, people stealing your identity and all of this, you don't know. But stop crowding people's space. All right. And that's my moment of the day. All right. Moving on to Music Grab. There's an artist out there by the name of Keb Mo. He's got several albums out. But one of my favorite songs is Am I Wrong? And I believe it's off the self-entitled album, Kept Mo. I could be wrong, but I'll look at that and I'll fix it tomorrow. And coming down to one of my favorite segments is the Football Corner. Now, I don't profess to be a football analyst. I don't profess to be the smartest guy in the room. I am a fan of football. I'm a fan of football and wrestling, but football I love more. I've been watching football since probably I was 10 years old, and my favorite team is the Denver Broncos. If you haven't seen this show ever, you should know Denver Broncos still number one in my book, and we're going to make it back next year. We'll talk noise. Washington get ready this Sunday, so for all you Washington Redskins fans out there, we coming for you. We coming to your town. Anyway, so I get home, and I'm watching the end of the Pittsburgh Steelers and New England Patriots game. I would just like to say that Jesse James' catch didn't lose the football game for them. I'm probably going to say the fact that you let Tom Brady back on the field was what lost you the game. Now, half of me says you kind of got robbed, because I think if a running back has made a football move, catches it and makes a football move, and outstretches to the end zone, any other time that I can remember is a catch and a touchdown. So refs, y'all probably need to change that rule, because it's way too complicated for the American public to digest, because no matter what you say, the people in Pittsburgh still think they got robbed. But I digress. They didn't get robbed. Do I think Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time? I think he is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But what I also think is that he's one of the most biggest complainers of all time, and has a lack of respect for people on the sidelines. He blew up on Josh McDaniels, who I personally don't like, but that's because he came and he wrecked Denver by doing a bunch of stuff and trading away a bunch of people. But that's I digress. But still, you still got to have a respect for your coach, right? Now, my philosophy has always been as a little league coach, as a coach of men, coach of little boys that are a little older, is to run the football and time clock management. If you've got a team that has a very good quarterback and they can score at a moment's notice, and they have a 6'7", almost 300-pound tight end, and he can make fabulous catches, I would say keep those guys off the field by running the football. Only passing when you absolutely have to in short distances. So run the football. Let the time, y'all had the lead. All you had to do is convert and it was like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. Y'all got to do that. Now, I could be wrong, but like as soon as he got the ball back, they scored on you. Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin, and you trying to win, and I get it, but kick the ball in overtime and hope you get the deal. And you know what I'm saying? Get the win, baby, because that win's important, because that means y'all got to play all through the playoffs. And New England don't have to play. That means they can sit back and... I'm just saying. So, run the foot, like every NFL team, he's that good. He's almost a surgical quarterback. Yes, it could be the system. I get it. It's the system. I got it. But keep his behind off the field. Run the football. Run the football. And that's my football corner. Once again, Season 1, Episode 4 of Unedited. Next week, we're going, hopefully, in the next couple of days, I got to get some things together. But I'm going to YouTube, but I'm still going to push everything that I do to YouTube to Facebook so y'all can check it out because y'all are my first fans, and I appreciate that. And have a good day. Have a blessed day. And like I always say, live today like it's your last.